Next up, we have Idolize by Creo. Featured in Geometry Dash, I assume. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, all that good stuff. Support this channel as much as you want, not at your own expense. Two disclaimers. Number one, this is my first time hearing this track, so I will be pausing a lot, and I will be talking a lot as I will be explaining things as I hear them or as I realize them. So don't go complaining that I'm pausing too much or that I'm talking too much, because that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, I'm telling you right now. And number two, this is recorded live on stream on a single take. So I might stumble upon my words, whatever happens, happens. With that being said, let's do this. Idolize by Creo, let's go. Okay. We start with what sounds to be a synthesized, like a sample of an electric guitar being cut. Like the sound is being cut and it's bouncing back and forth in panning. We're panning the audio. So we are going to start with the concept of panning. Panning, there's many ways of panning. This is a concept that exists above several mediums. Film has this, photography has this, every kind of thing has this. In audio, panning is the concept of using stereo. Stereo is the standard of audio that we use nowadays, because we human beings have two ears, left ear, right ear, and the overwhelming majority of us have them working. So the way stereo works is that you have two speakers, left speaker, right speaker. Then you have the listener here in the middle. Here you are, all happy, deformed, and bald, therefore evil. And Haunter, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the mosh pit. And the way stereo works is that you divide whatever audio you have into two separate tracks, the left track and the right track, which means whenever you play anything on a stereo track, you're not getting one audio wave, you're not getting one set of audio, you're getting two sets of audio, one for each ear. And the concept of panning is taking individual elements within that and prioritizing one ear over the other. So, how does it work? If both tracks are playing, let's say you have a guitar track, and both of them are playing at full volume, left ear and right ear, it's going to sound as it comes from the front. The more you lower the volume on one ear, the further to the other it's going to sound. There are a few other tricks that you can do, like if you lower the volume enough on both ears, you can create the illusion that it's from behind you. There are a lot of really, really cool tricks that you have, but basically you have the concept of panning from this. Then we have an extra concept that I put on top of that. We have active versus passive. So active panning versus passive panning. Passive panning is we determine, okay, I want guitar number one on the left ear, and it's going to stay on the left ear for the entirety of the track, and that's it. Active is seconds 2 through 5, the guitar is going to be on the left ear. Seconds 5 to 6 is going to go to the right ear. 6 to 7 is going to go back to the center. That is active panning, that it changes over time. And what Creo is doing right now is he's doing active panning with this sample. The sample is being cut in, and it's basically restarting. Like the sample is being restarted at a beat, and it's going through a very subtle active panning. So every time it repeats, you can hear this thing that happens. And the thing that happens is basically you have an audio file. Let's say you have an audio file with the audio wave going around. And the way speakers work, when you have a sound speaker, you have the, let me just make the speaker more like this. And the way the speaker works is that you're going to have a membrane on it, and it's going to vibrate by either going forwards or going backwards. And every audio wave is going to represent that. And you will be able to see, once you zoom in to an audio wave, you will be able to see which waves go forward and which waves go backward. So the way that Creo is using the audio right now is that whenever there's a phenomenon that you have that if you cut an audio file, let's see, we cut it right here when the audio wave is going down and therefore the membrane is getting pulled back to create sound. If you then start another audio wave that is also heading down, the membrane needs to reset. And it creates this really, really cool, and sometimes not that cool. It can really mess up it can really be bad sounding, but it basically forces the membrane to push and pull really quick, which ends up with a slap-like sound. So what is happening here is that Creo is starting and restarting the clip of this sample every time within that downward or upward going, creating that slap sound. And each time that slap sound is created, it's creating a beat. It's being percussive. Is this on purpose? I don't know. If this is not on purpose, I don't know. But it is creating that phenomenon. So every time the audio starts, and each repetition of the audio is being actively panned very subtly from left to right. So we're getting this really cool teleportation back and forth that we're getting from all this. A lot of stuff coming from a single note within 5 seconds of music. But yeah, let's let's see where this goes. So yeah, you can hear it now, the pace is increasing. Okay, and it's also a little bit different. It's not entirely that the audio wave is being restarted. It's that the audio wave is being spliced together and spliced in different sections. So let's say we have the audio wave over here and we have this whole thing over here. So what Creo is doing is he's segmenting whatever audio is happening, chopping it up like this, and then we are shuffling these sections around and changing them from one spot to another so that you're technically getting the same audio, but not really. Have you ever seen that optical illusion? There's this type of picture that you can get where you divide vertically, where you slice vertically a picture, and then you put them at an angle so that whenever you tilt the picture, you can get two pictures in one picture. It's something like that. It's something like, I don't remember the name of that kind of picture, but it's a really, really cool optical illusion that you can get where you can put two pictures into one, and it's like basically this kind of undulation, zigzag pattern where one picture shows from this end and the other picture shows from this end. So when you change perspective, you can get several pictures, and there's ways to make like multiple pictures out of that. We're doing something similar to that, and we're just adding more and more layers to this whole thing. And we're using that as a beat. Very creative. Very, very creative. Let's see. Alright. Ooh. We introduce some drums. Okay, so now we replace the spliced up audio files. We splice up the audio files, we replace those, and we actually replace them with individual samples of something else. So we are having some percussive sounds, we're having a synth, actually replacing these, we have a bass line and everything. And yeah, it's a good way of establishing that, oh yeah, at the start we had this one audio file that is being spliced up, and it was foreshadowing for the fact that every splice that we were hearing was actually going to be something, a different layer playing. That's very creative, man. That's very creative. I like it. Let's see where it goes. Okay, so yes, we now introduce the drums, and we have now finally an actual motif going on. Because the start of this, we were doing kind of a rhythmic motif kind of thing. Like it was a beat. Like even though we were splicing things together, there was no proper motif being given to us just yet. Motif, of course, being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from, right? And we didn't really have a melody out of this whole thing. That was kind of on purpose, it seems, because the whole idea was to give this quasi-disjointed Frankenstein's monster type of audio wave just spread along, giving us foreshadowing to the actual motif coming in. Now we actually have a motif, the two notes, again, bum, 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 bum. Very, very simple. But then again, Creo is capable of making a lot with very, very simple ideas. We introduce the drums, and let me see what else there is. We have the upward going synth. Let's see. And we bring in our first drop. We are still using that original idea of the splice, like that original rhythm. So it turned out to be an actual rhythmic motif. So we have a rhythmic motif and we have a melodic motif going on. And the rhythmic motif, it's such a simple, like it's straight eighth notes. It's like one of the, like this isn't even an easy thing. We're talking, this is like first grade level rhythmic exercises when you're learning how measures work. And Creo has turned that into an actual motif. So, was that an element of clear, heavily filtered section and clear section? Because the same element is different when filtered and clear? Yeah. Yeah. And very, very cool. This is really, really cool. The way that Creo has turned this, because now we bring in a little bit of rhythmic displacement because we have the build up to the drop. The soundbite played for the drop. Some of the audio started, but the actual drop didn't start until just after that, and that was really cool. Like Creo is really good at doing rhythmic displacement. Rhythmic displacement, of course, being you either push things forwards or backwards a little bit to create extra tension. Because once again, when you're making music, you are doing one of two things. You are building tension or you are resolving the tension in that spot in the middle we call a cadence. So, yeah, the way that rhythmic displacement tends to work usually is that you take that moment of resolution and you push it a little bit more. Usually it's accompanied by silence, which creates a bit of phantom extra buildup. However, what Creo did over here, he had a quick moment of silence, a sample playing, and then we got extra buildup from the actual sounds starting. Really cool, really creative, and very simple. Like, these are just really, really simple. So let's see where this goes. Okay, and then we have the actual rhythm. We have the actual rhythm. Now, instead of it being this spliced audio wave, it's an actual synth doing the actual hits. And the motif itself is being played in an elongated manner. So the concept of elongation, we're going through a lot of concepts already. Elongation is a way of developing a motif. It is when you take any sort of musical idea and you stretch it to be slower. So at the start, we were hearing bum 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 bum, and now we are hearing bum 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 bum. It's the same overall shape. It's just happening a lot slower. That is elongation. The opposite of elongation is reduction, which is the opposite. You make something faster. So we're doing elongation with repeated notes. So the motif is a little bit, masked off there, but it is there. And I'm still impressed by the fact that Creo is making so much out of so little. It's still, like, that is still one of my favorite things about Creo, how much he's able to do with so little. It's really cool. Let's see where it goes. John Blood, welcome to the day, man. How you doing? Bit of rhythmic displacement with the drum fill. And we have this other synth in the back. It's kind of a vocal track. It's kind of not. It's kind of in the middle. And it's giving us a little bit of counterpoint to the main melody. It's really good. It's really good. Counterpoint being the study of melodies, how melodies interact with each other. Usually what happens when you pit one melody against another and they work together anyway. And yeah, the drums are really, really good, giving us a very straightforward rhythm, a very straightforward beat. And if there's one I would say Creo pays very good close attention to every detail. Because that's something I've noticed. Every detail is there and thought through. So the tone of these drums are very, very specific to him. The way the motifs develop are very thought through. So yeah, I like this. Just become the pirate software of music composition. I'm not, except not a hack. Well, okay, thank you. I'm gonna take that as a half compliment. All right, let's continue. And yeah, you can hear how we are using rhythmic displacement in the shape of a drum fill. So when it comes to drums, right now, even though we are using an electronic drum kit, which is usually just pre-programmed in a computer, when it comes to a drummer, you have something called fills, right? So a drum fill, is usually a way of creating cadence with a drum. Because unlike other instruments that have pitch, the drums very rarely will have pitch. Like you have stuff like timpani, marimbas, like mallet instruments, that kind of thing that are actually pitched, because one of the things that creates most tension is pitch and relative to where they are. Usually that's chord progressions that create cadence. So in order for a drum to be able to create cadence, we engage usually in fills. Drum fills are usually a deviation of whatever rhythm you are doing to create some sort of different rhythm that builds tension to the coming rhythm. And what Creo is doing is that he's using these drum fills for rhythm displacement. Because usually most artists, what they're going to do is every time there's a drum fill, it's going to happen within the rest of the music. But what Creo is doing over here is he is silencing everybody else, letting the drum have its fill, and then we continue when we jump back into the beat. It's so simple. It's such a simple idea, but it works. It works really well because it pushes the beat and it gives you that extra sense of expectation that cadence creates that you would usually only get with harmony and melody, but now he's using drum fills as... Yeah, no, it's just really, really well executed. Let's see where it goes. Yep, so we're having this... And that vocal, I think it is a vocal track. It's a vocal track humming along the motif, and it's giving us it's kind of hidden, it's kind of in the background, it's kind of like blurred a little bit between a bunch of the other stuff, but it creates a very cool flying melody. So a flying melody is a colloquial term that I use. Colloquial means there's no academic term for this, or at least I'm not using it for the sake of simplicity. And what a flying melody is that you have a drum beat, a bass line, middle ground, whatever it is, and it's filled up. And then on top of that, you have a melody that is usually slower, simpler than everything else, just kind of flying above the landscape of everything else. And that is kind of what is happening over here, except this is further in the back, kind of hidden in the back, giving it's like flying behind the clouds or something like that. It's a very, very interesting approach to this whole thing. Because usually melody is something that you want to have at the forefront. It's something that you want to have in your face. You want the melody to be there. But Creo is doing kind of the opposite here. And yeah, it's just good. Let's see where it goes. Oh, and off the ramp we went. So, going off the ramp, another colloquial term that I use, transition that makes your listener feel suspended up in the air at the mercy of inertia, going off a ramp kind of thing, waiting to see where we land. How do you do that? Remove the drums, maybe the bass as well, and there you go. There you go. So, let's see, and Ali, yeah, don't request just yet. I'm deleting all requests because we're not taking live requests just yet. All right, let's see where this goes. Now you can hear the vocals a little bit more. Okay, so we are actually bringing some actual guitars into this. I like it. I like it. We're bringing some guitars doing variations of the motifs, both rhythmically and in melody, mixing everything together. And yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. It fits really well. It's a good contrast to what we had before. And now the humming melodies are a little bit, turns out there was more than one. The humming melodies are a little bit further to the front, giving us a really good B section. So, when it comes to music, you have something called form, especially for instrumental music. Form is just structure of whatever it is that you're making. And structure usually is made, especially for instrumental music, it is defined by letters. So we had our intro, then we had the A section, which was all the way to the first drop and the end of the first drop, and now we are in the B section. Now, when it comes to music, you want to keep a very careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiarity, too much of the same thing, too much repetition, you risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new material too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. So, we have that, but at the same time, when it comes to structure, you want to have the A section be one thing and the B section be contrasting. So how do you do that without leaning too much in the too much new stuff? You create some sort of variation to what you already have. And by that, you need to create some sort of connecting tissue. So what did Creo do? Creo took the second half of A, which was the drop, and he hid behind, in the background, the melodies that were going to be in the foreground in section B. He put the guitars now, which the guitars are a variation on the motifs from section A, which has a couple of just slightly different things, but it's kind of still there. It's kind of an inverted motif. Inversion in melody is you take some sort of melody, whatever shape that is, you take that and you flip it upside down. And that's what we're doing. We're doing kind of like an inverted version, then the normal version, back to back, giving us the shape kind of like this for the motif. And that variation alone is enough to give us enough connecting tissue between A and B to say that it is contrasting and different, even though we are still using a lot of the same material. Really good stuff. Let's see where it goes. And the drums are different. The drum beat is a little bit different, a tiny bit different, and it's a lot more analog than digital. So that's another difference. Let's see where it goes. Ooh! Kind of sounded like a solo there. Off the ramp we go again. Ooh, nice chord change. Yep, the humming, yeah. And we have, on top of that, we're bringing a bunch of other instruments. We're bringing mallet instruments. I don't know which one it is. I don't know. It might be a xylophone, might be a marimba. I'm not entirely sure. But it's mallet instruments. And it's building up a lot. It's building up a lot. This is really cool. I am just impressed by how little Creo is using and how much it's doing. Let's see where it goes. Up, we bring another variation of drums. And we do one of my favorite things. We bring in some strings, some violins, doing one of my favorite things, which is pizzicato. So, pizzicato is a term for when you take something like a violin that is usually a bowed instrument and you pluck the string instead. The opposite of pizzicato is arco. Arco is to play with a bow. Pizzicato is to pluck the string, and it gives you this really, really cool sound that we're getting right now, plus the extra sounds that we're getting. Let me see what else. We've got the bass. We got the bass doing a variation of the thing, and we have like these. And we have the guitars there. Oh, bring back the drums. The bass is doing the bass is the one doing the motif. The motif is the motif is the one carrying the bass is carrying the motif right now. The B version of the motif is being carried by the bass. It took me a moment. It took me a moment to realize it, but it's there. Let's see where it goes. We're having that synth building up. We build up a little bit more. We introduce some more synths. Synths in the top, giving us counterpoint. And we're building a lot of tension here. We're having that, there we go, we're having that synth building up, building up, building up. How are you gonna drop it? We bring in the climax of this piece, which usually the climax is gonna be within the last 1 to 2 minutes of their piece. We use silence. First off, then we use the concept of the drum fills to create extra rhythmic displacement, and then we drop the beat. Done in such a simple way, but it is really, really good. Let me go back a little bit to hear this properly. Ooh! So yeah, now we bring in another melody. We bring a melody on top, now in your face, which is something this entire track hadn't really had. For the entirety of this track, the melody was always hidden or blurred or mixed in with something else. And now we are fully bringing the melody up in your face, giving us a very, very beautiful variation of the overall shape of the second version of the melody, while we are still revisiting every single concept that we've done so far. Every single one of the concepts seems to be here, which is usually what you want to do for a climax. Usually for a climax, you want to revisit as much material, revisit as many of the tricks you already did as possible, and Creo is doing precisely that. Let's see where it goes. Harmonized. And those drum fills, dude, it works so well. That displacement is really good. So yeah, I would put this melody, like the synth playing the melody, kind of in between a second, like kind of like in between a second half of B or a solo, because the melodies being played somewhat resemble the shapes of the melodies we've heard before, but at the same time they are new material. And when it comes to, again, when I said music, you have to keep the careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. The only exceptions we have are solos, which is a universal exception. For electronic music, we have dropping the beat, which is not what Creo is doing here. Creo is reusing a bunch of his material over here for the drops. Like, we are just reusing material here, which by all intents and purposes is a risky move, but Creo is doing it so well that it's working really, really, really nicely, because we are reusing material in a slightly different way than we were before. And we have a solo. The solo is the exception here. When it comes to solos, rule of cool is king. When it comes to solos, if it sounds good, then it stays. It's that simple. You don't need to worry about motifs. You don't need to worry about your rhythms, your sections. You don't need to worry about anything. All you need to worry about is that it sounds cool. And this sounds cool. Let's see where it goes. And yeah, like every once in a while we add small details to the drum fills. Let's see how you're gonna end this. Really cool melodies. Alright, now we bring it back down. Variation of the drum from section B with a higher... This is completely unrelated material. It kind of resembles what we had before, so that the bass could carry out the ending. And there we go. And there we go. We have the bass take that finale, which is a fairly unusual thing to do. Usually the bass doesn't get to finish a track. So, yeah. There you go. Man, that was really good. That was really good. There you have it. That was Idolize by Creo. Really good stuff, man. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what has happened here musically. So, if you're watching this on the video, YouTube, archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, all that good stuff. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3 seconds, I will be linking it in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, if you are, do not request yet. And if you're not on the live stream, go to the Discord server, link down below, go to the LFA requests channel, and follow the instructions in the pinned messages. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. Full stream schedule, up to date, showing in your local time zone if you don't live in Europe. Linked in the Discord and the Twitch channels. They both have a stream schedule channel or page, tab, whatever, showing the schedules that way. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel where I put the VODs of the gaming after shows if they happen. Games are Basterd, link down below, or just search for it on YouTube. Same username as James R. Basterd. You just swap the J for a G and you got it. And there you go. Man, that was really cool. That was really, really good. Idolize by Creo. Really, really good stuff, man. I'm always impressed by Creo. Insanely good. But yeah, let's move on.